I know my broadcast has sounded radical over the years, and some people thought, man, that guy's crazy. Am I crazy now? No, the elites are out of control. Tyranny looks crazy to somebody that's not a tyrant. And so I understand why hearing me report on stuff before it all unfolded sounded crazy. But I was desperately trying to warn people to stop us from getting to this point. But I've always said that once the real tyranny starts unfolding, and Ron Paul has said this as well, that if we did our job and warned people, that once it happened, our credibility would go way up. And then we'd have a chance to beat them. But politics now is not like something that even if you're involved that's at a distance and, you talk with your buddies at the golf course or around the water cooler. Folks, it's time to drop everything and get really aggressive, or it's over. Okay, the globalists know that America was really starting to wake up to them. So what do you do if you're a slave master and your slave starts getting out of line? What does a pimp do? America, it really is the story of a prostitute. This beautiful, healthy farm girl thinks she'll go to Hollywood and be a star. She gets there, works at McDonald's, can't get the star job she wants. And they ask her, do you want to be in pornography? And then pretty soon she's a prostitute. And by the way, that's how show business works, period. I've never even tried to be in movies, but have been offered a few times to be in some pretty big films by Tommy Pilato and Richard Linklater. And so I didn't have that experience there. But then I got invited to go try out for some other movies. And some of the people associated with the films didn't even know that I was already an established radio talk show host and already, on, I think, about 15 stations at the time. This had to be about 2000, and I was still pretty skinny then. It looked a lot more attractive than I do now. And they point blank at one of these casting studios asked me if I wanted to be in porn. And I was like, are you kidding? And that's just when you're at another meeting, people want you to be in a TV show, and then you're walking in the parking lot and somebody next door goes, hey, come on over here. And it's a mainline system at that time associated with the city. And you walk in there, and there's all these people lined up trying to be stars, and right in front of you, they're asking women if they want to be in porn. And they're asking you if you want to be in porn. See, that's how ubiquitous this is. But I've already gone off into a porn analogy. I never told that story. That's how screwed up this is. And everybody wants to be a star because you're nobody if you're not a star. Let me tell you something. Once you've been in movies, been around movies, they're totally unhappy people. It's nothing. It's nothing to be Brad Pitt. It's nothing to be any of these people. There's nothing. This is life. This is what it is. What's rewarding is being truthful and honorable and having children and raising a family and being strong. The fame, the garbage, it means nothing. But they control people with it. But getting back to the analogy of America like a young farm girl from Kansas. Beautiful black hair, green eyes, just perfect complexion, perfect proportions. She goes to California because everybody told her she ought to be a movie star. She was so pretty. She was so smart. And that's just what she should do. 5 years later, she is a heroin addict and a $20 hooker that nobody even wants to have sex with. And then she's OD'd dead at the morgue. That's happened tens of thousands of times in the last 50 years in Los Angeles alone. If she would have gone out, had an economy, found a man, had a business, would have had children, would have had a life, would have been a grandmother, would have fully fulfilled her destiny of being a wholesome human, wrecked, destroyed by Hollywood. And you know how those pimps work. They tell the young women, well, we can get you in movies, but first you got to prove yourself. You got to go out and turn some tricks. You're going to have some sex with some people. Plus, you're going to like it. They got money and stuff. And so the 18-year-old woman, beautiful, unpilfered, might have lost their virginity, These women go out and they try to get into the nastiest forms of sex, try to make themselves like it so that they can then be in movies. It's like learning how to be a sword swallower or a fire blower or something. I'm telling you, folks, this is how it works. I'm not going to tell you any stories. I'm just going to tell you that's how it works. These women try to learn how to hurt their bodies, how to do things that they don't like, so they can be a star and make $2,000 per film having somebody tear their body open. And see, that's America. Once they get you on the plantation, once they get you as a sharecropper, once they get you on welfare, in the criminal justice system, once they get you under their control, under their socialist health care, now they can tell you, hey, we got to kill old people to pay for young people. How's that sound, young people? Yeah, kill people so I get a job. See, that's what collectivism's all about, being under people's control, where the state controls what movies are made, where the state controls what films are made. And with these evil people, because I've run into them and been around them and all study history, it's the enjoyment of hurting innocents. It's the enjoyment of having, like, cattle cars delivered to Hollywood, all the young, gorgeous women of America, and men now, pile off to walk in where seedy, hunchback, demonic men and women sit there and poke at them and prod at them and say, what are you going to do? And these stars are told, okay, clean my house and do this and that and literally sit here while I do horrible things to you. You know, I mentioned this yesterday. I'm not even going to get into the ton of stuff they do. And the most evil, because they control the idea of being stars, a fiat, nothing fraud, and they control the fiat Federal Reserve notes. They get the whole world on fake dreams and fake money. The whole world by these magicians, these fraudsters, these Bernie Madoff, Ken Lay types. And the whole world is run by these people now. Mafia criminals, where the very worst rise to the top. You know, the film The Godfather is actually based on a composite of true stories. You know, Frank Sinatra, you name it, it's all in there. That's a true story. The Godfather is a true story. It's a composite, Mario Puzo's. And in it, it's the story of the old New York Godfather. They want to run all sorts of dirty stuff. Underage hookers, heroin. And he says, I'm not going to be part of it. So they shoot him. And then they get what they want. They get, and they say, well, all right, we'll just keep it in the black neighborhood. They're animals anyways, let them lose their souls. And that's why those zones have been so destroyed, because they were picked as the red light district, as a way to hurt those people. And the same thing has now been done to everybody. You know, when I was growing up, if we wanted party beer, we had to drive into Dallas and go into the black neighborhood, and we can walk right into a liquor store. If you were 14 years old, driving with your 16-year-old buddy, walk right into the black liquor store, and they'd sell you alcohol. And cops would watch you walk right out of the liquor store with beer or vodka or whatever, because they were all getting paid off in Dallas, Texas. See, that's what crime's all about. They make things illegal so they can get a cut of it. And anybody that's lived in a crime-run city knows that. The naive people, mainly the churchgoers, who really think the world is what's going on in their little church, they are totally blind to this entire situation. But 100 times or more, I'd jump in the back of the pickup truck with my older buddies, and we'd drive into South Dallas. You could hear guns going off in the background quite a few times, and people try to mug you and everything else just to get beer so we could have a party and get the cheerleaders over. And we'd drive back to the rich neighborhood we lived in by the golf course, and everybody'd get drunk. But the point is that that's just 1/100th of the stuff that goes on out there. And corruption isn't cute. It's sick. It's horrible. Let me tell you what corruption is. It's a little family-owned restaurant where the organized crime comes in and says, I want you to hire this person for me here, and I want you to pay me 20% of all your profits, and my guy's going to make sure. And you got to sit there while their thug comes in a few hours a day and tells you what to do. And then the thug wants to have sex with your daughter. So the thug rapes your daughter one night in the parking lot, and you beat the brains out of the guy that did it, and the police come and arrest you and tell you that you're going to go to death row because you killed one of their guys. And see, they don't want you having a gun to protect yourself from them. And I'm going to get into the fiscal cliff and open the phones up and everything else, but you've got to understand how this works. And America was like a beautiful supermodel that looked like Wonder Woman. There's countries and ships, we call them women. That's why the analogy fits. And now we're a zombie crack whore in the back of a flat with bed bugs feeding on us and cigarette burns and cuts all over us, and almost all the hair is falling out, and she's got double black eyes, and the pimp is running a needle up into her vein to give her an overdose and get rid of her. That's how they get rid of him. He's running. But see, we haven't quite got to that point. There's always a point where the hooker goes, I'm going back to Kansas. You know, she's 6 months into it. She's got diseases. She's had to have an abortion. She wants to get off the drugs. She wants to go home to mommy and daddy, and he walks in, and he knocks her teeth out. She falls down, blood coming out. Takes out a coat hanger and starts beating her. Locks her up for a week in a closet. Don't cry, just like Milwaukee when the cops were there. Jeffrey Dahmer was authorized to do what he was doing. Nobody's coming to help you little kids, and nobody's coming to help you, lady. And they lock her up in there and half starve her to death, and he comes back and he says, I'll give you some food, but don't you ever try to leave me again. And a year later, she's dead on a dirty mattress. And that's what they're going to do to America, just like they've done to Nigeria and Brazil. They're going to take us and they're going to squeeze us out, and they're going to strangle America because they like it. They like watching that beauty go out of your eyes. They like putting fluoride in your water and mercury in your shots. When globalists walk into restaurants and see all the diseased-looking zombie little kids with the souls already sucked out of them, they love it. And they're going to do it to all of you. They're going to take their time real good on all of you unless you wake up and realize who they are. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to tell you who they are. Because most people that know this stuff are cowards, and they decide to join the evil. They decide to serve this force because when you are smart enough to know about it, you learn about it, you go, well, I'm going to play ball. The only way to beat this is to not play ball with it. Now, let's take Illinois. Famous state. Millions of hardworking immigrants from Poland and Germany and Ireland and Scotland went there, and Italy. And they took Chicago down with Prohibition, 10 years of the gangsters being able to make hundreds of millions of dollars a month. And that was, in those days, equivalent of billions a month. And they took it over, and it's been their town ever since. And we're on the radio there in Chicago. And when I open the phones up, I first want to give folks there a chance. They've taken all your guns in Chicago. Now they want to do it system-wide in Illinois. Now they want to do it system-wide in Illinois. And how's that working out for you? 500-plus murders last year, and people getting mugged when 3-4-time felons are out there with guns. Nobody's going to stop the felons. The highest crime rates are where they take the guns. And now Illinois moves to outlaw modern firearms and criminalize owners. Illinois State President John Cullerton will reportedly introduce a draconian bill today, and now it's happened, in the Illinois legislature that will effectively ban all modern firearms, criminalize their owners, and subject their guns to confiscation by the Illinois State Police. They're not the Illinois State Police. They're the mafia enforcers. The proposed, oh yeah, when the mafia has been running stuff for 80 years, they wear uniforms. The proposed outlawing of firearms was confirmed by the NRA's Illinois rep, according to Robert Farrago, writing for the Truth About Guns website. The move coincides with a federal effort by Dianne Feinstein to introduce legislation outlawing all semi-automatic firearms and imposing de facto confiscation. And the bill will also shut down gun ranges. It gets into that, and Kurt's adding more to this article right now at Infowars.com. Red linked, red alert. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that's why you shouldn't be into all the stuff that's corrupt out there because they're gateways. When you watch porn, you're aiding them hurting all these innocent young women where they try to make it look so glamorous. Most of those women end up dead or in prison. Look it up. When you aid this government, you're helping them run murder operations right now in Africa and Latin America where they come into villages with helicopters and fire rockets. I just showed you the New York Times earlier. Rockets into their houses. Oh, you're not going to hear Angelina Jolie talk about how that's bad. She goes to those countries and calls for the invasions. Did you look her up? Do you know she's a devil worshiper? Talks about how much she loves death and the devil. Wears a blood amulet around her neck with blood in it. Take one look at that woman and tell you she wishes she was a vampire. Spiritually, she is. You notice all the mass shooters. Son of Sam, Ramirez, the Night Stalker. The last two shooters, New York with the fireman, Lanza, if you believe that story. All of them admitted devil worshippers. All of them devil worshippers. Devil worshippers are our problem. Devil worshippers. Let me explain something to you. Criminals, people that are forced into it because, oh, you were late to class, you're going to juvenile hall. Now they beat you up if you don't join the gang. That's just the muscle of the psychopaths. But the real kingpins, the real king rats, they need to be dealt with. Good men are there to stomp the guts out of the psychopaths politically. But if they start the physical fight with us, it's up to us to make sure they can't keep hurting innocent people. It's up to us to stand up against these people, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to break down for you who the enemy is so you know. Who's going to help those children? Who's going to help those women? Who's going to help all those people? I am. I'm standing up. What about you? I'm standing up for the kids they're aborting. We're winning that fight, politically. We can win if we just get up on our legs, get up off our butts. We can win. We can save the innocents. But you got to go after the evil.